In recent years, the climate has changed a lot because our Earth is sick now. The Earth has continued to warm now, so late our current climate has become extreme climate. However, what are the effects of climate extreme on us? Extreme climate produce droughts, floods, and heat waves. Our group wants to introduce to you is flood. Next, we would like to introduce to you the impact of the flood on the world and Taiwan. Finally, we will tell you how to live peacefully with the flood.
Let's take a look at the flood disasters that countries around the world have encountered in recent years. The first is a country very close to us, China, which has a vast territory and rich hydrological natural resources. China has experienced floods in the summer of 2020 and 2021, including the flooding of Wuhan in the middle reaches of the Yangtze River and the flooding of Zhengzhou in Henan Province in the Yellow River Basin. In the flooding incident on the Yangtze River, heavy rains caused the river to swell and devastated Wuhan, which has been hit hard by the epidemic. Even the Three Gorges Dam, a well-known water conservancy facility, once reported that the dam body was deformed and nearly collapsed. Looking back at the events in Zhengzhou, it is also the torrential rain in recent days that led to the sharp rise of the river. In the picture, we can even see a frightening scene, a completely flooded tunnel in which countless people who failed to escape were buried in the water. The flood in Henan shocked the world because China's official statistics showed that the rainfall in those days exceeded the original record, which was called the once-in-a-thousand-year flood by the Chinese government. A few days after the flood in Zhengzhou, the Rhine and Danube basins in Europe were also seriously flooded. Due to the abnormal storm group, the European plain was impacted by extreme rainfall. Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands and other countries were seriously damaged when the drainage facilities were insufficient to load. Among them, Germany suffered the most damage, causing more than 200 deaths, more than 100 missing, and economic losses worth $3 billion. In the autumn of the same year, there were many floods caused by extreme rainfall in North America. In September, Hurricane Ida hit the east coast of the United States, paralyzing traffic in major cities such as New York. The New York subway turned into a huge pool, and too much water spewed out of the sewers, forming fountains one by one. As a final example, let's take a look at Canada in November 2021. Due to the extreme rainfall caused by the abnormally lingering front, a serious flood in British Columbia, Canada, has paralyzed the traffic in Vancouver, an important port city, and affected international shipping operations. Canada is an important exporter of durum wheat and potato in the world. The disaster once led to a shortage of spaghetti and fries in the world. From the many examples above, we can see that the flood problem is global and a serious issue that all human beings have to face. No country or government can escape this impending catastrophe. Reason. The reason why floods occur can be classified into the following points. 1. Global warming. 2. Developing of human. From the perspective of global warming, we can see that under the rise of global temperature, more water vapor evaporates into the atmosphere, increasing rainfall. Also, because of the rising temperature, glaciers and icebergs melt, raising the global sea level and reducing the efficiency of land drainage. From the perspective of human development, we destroyed the natural water and soil conservation when building cities, and used a large number of impermeable materials, such as asphalt, to pave roads, which greatly reduced the drainage capacity of the city.
Taiwan. After watching the disaster around the world, let's take a look at Taiwan. The cause of the flood in Taiwan is that there are floods and other disasters in heavy rains and other unbearable natural conditions, such as large amount of mud and sand and short river channels, which are often inhibited by many factors. Therefore, floods are often the result of natural disaster and man-made disaster, rather than by a single factor. The important causes of flood are introduced later. Natural factors. Amazing rainfall, large rivers slope, large amount of topsoil. Taiwan is an island country. Every year, pouring rain in May and June, and typhoon from June to October often bring amazing rainfall. In particular, the high intensity of rainfall per hour in the main cause of the flooding. National Battle 2, largest stop of the river. Taiwan's catchment area in breadth with a very annual rate of 2 to 20 mm, which is 5 to 70 times that of the Yellow River basin of China and 30 to 300 times that of the Mississippi River basin in the United States. A large amount of mud and sand deposits in the river with the torrent, which will naturally affect the river through discharge capacity. And human factor 1, land competition with water. Many mushroom plants have developed around rivers. In the past, broad areas of rivers have been extended, reclaimed, and even brought buildings. As a result of competition with water, floods are prone to flood. Many depressions and valleys were originally areas for storm surface runoff. Once built and used roads have to flood everywhere. If the flood control and system is not perfect, they are prone to flooding. Human factor 2, upgrading and development of content areas. Once an area is urban forest and grassland will be replaced by roads, impervious sidewalk and parking lots, so that most of the river cannot penetrate underground, so it has to flow on the urban ground, resulting in an increase in surface runoff and much higher chance of flooding. After urbanization, the flow speed of the water on the road and rainwater is faster than that on undeveloped woodland and grassland. Increase the flood peaks of river in the road reach of city, shorten the gathering time, and increase the chance of flood downstream. Similarly, if the catchment areas in the upper reach of the river are devoted to farms, communities, schools, schools, etc., similar urbanization will occur. After rain, the impression will decrease. The flood peaks of the river will arrive early.
What solutions people have used to face such danger disaster? Long time ago, humans have already faced flood, so people indeed have many ways to solve the problems. People in different times have different types of solution. In all factions, people facing the flood from the sea will build sea dams, such as Oxforddick. A sea dam is built by Midland. Sea dams can control the water from the sea, in case it causes the disaster. But it also has a defect. First, it needs a big fortune for building proper discs and for repair. Second, it can't defend the sea water higher than it. Water from river is also different. First, I want to introduce river wall, which functions like sea discs. In Taiwan, you can see the construction like a denser river wall, and the dam can be used for flood control. Dams can control the water from the upstream and can save the water for people. But dams may well change the nature's environment and destroy some animal habitats, and it needs big fortunes to keep operation. It also damages the wildlife like a finless porpoise. And the last methods, we can move the peoples living beside the floodplain. People not try to coexist with water. In policy part, we can build a system of a flood warning to warn people living in danger area. Also, the government can enforce the buildings control, reduce numbers of buildings in floodplain, prevent too many buildings from the flow of river, and protect the people living in dangerous area. To set a flood insurance is also important, because that can reduce the victim property's damage from flood. In construction part, like Netherlands, we can build a floating house which can float when water level rises. We can fill hollow concrete with a foam and then use the concrete as a house foundation, make the house floatable, and use a pillar and a rope to keep house stay in its position. In Taiwan, green fields also set and constructed by people. Habitat of animals will not be destroyed, and waters can run into the ground, and then flood will be reduced. Sponge cities are a new method. Modern cities are normally built with impermeable materials. If a city is hit by heavy rain, the waters can't easily be drained or absorbed. So, a sponge city built with permeable materials or with a more green place can help the waters be drained easily, in which people can reduce the tar or cement. These materials hardly absorb water when built a road, and we can grow plants in the wasteland to make rainwater can be absorbed effectively.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.